Let's go back to the very beginning. You're standing on the beach at the starting line. Phil is there talking to you. I know you're super fans. This had to be a special moment.
Absolutely. We were standing there on the beach and it was just incredible. Like we have watched the show for so long, um, since I was in second or third grade and Maya was in kindergarten. We've been watching the show together. So just to be standing there with Phil in front of us and getting to hear "The World is Waiting for You" was such an incredible experience.
Yes, just the eyebrow, it was so like we'd been dreaming of this moment for a very, very, very long time. And so it was just
We're soaking it in.
And now, obviously, watching it is different than being there. What was maybe the biggest surprise about actually running the race?
look, Rohan and I, as we've obviously been longtime fans of the show, had so many plans set in place for ourselves. We just don't understand, like, from home. We don't understand the adrenaline that's going on in the heat of the moment. And a lot of the plans that we had made kind of chipped away. Like, we had said, I would always be the driver, Rohan was always going to be the navigator. That obviously went out the window. We were going to stop and find a map.
And we tried, believe us, we tried. They didn't show it. We tried to find a map.
It just didn't happen. And a lot of times, like when you see it on the show, you oftentimes you see a lot of the challenges that go on, and it doesn't necessarily focus on so much of the navigational aspect. Rowan and I completely killed the challenges. Unfortunately, we had some other issues.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looked like you went through that Lucha Libre detour pretty quickly. Is that accurate?
yes. It took us, I think, about 15 minutes.
And that included like running back and forth from the car.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we got that one
We
pretty
got that one
quickly.
done pretty quick. Memory challenges are something that's in our wheelhouse. So we're able to go there, look at the challenge, and get it done pretty quickly.
When you had the car stuck on that narrow street and turned it around, that was one of the most stressful things I could absolutely imagine. How did you get through that?
Yeah.
So the way that the clue laid it out, we had two streets to park on. And so Rohan drove past the first street and I was like, oh, we didn't realize that it was really street one, alleyway, street two. If we had keep going one more street, it would just be that we could have parked there, but we didn't know that. And so I saw the alleyway and I was like, oh, Rohan, we should turn around so we can go back. So we turned onto the alleyway.
And we thought we would be able to go down all the way down on the street and turn the car into a one of the other streets. We didn't realize that they had those barriers there. Had we known that there were the barriers there, we absolutely would have jumped out of the car, had stopped the traffic, and had tried to make a and like
Back
backed
up.
up. But because we were already all the way down and there were a lot of cars and other things that were in the street, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to back up all the way to get back onto the road because it was kind of a long alleyway.
I applaud you for just getting through that. I mean, that's that kind of stuff just makes you want to like curl up in a ball and like give up.
Oh, I almost did. At that point where I was perpendicular with the barricades, there was like an inch on each side of my car. And I was like, Rowan, there's no way. I was like, Phil's
Yeah.
gonna have to come eliminate us here because we're not gonna be able to leave.
Well, you do get through it, thank goodness. And like you said, you did really well on the detour, the lasso roadblock as well. You make a little sound bite that says you're probably like 10 minutes behind. Do you think that that was accurate?
Oh, that was accurate. So when we had pulled up to the ranch and we were parking, we saw Mary and Chris get in their car and were starting to drive away. I knew that if Rohan could get it on try one or two, that we would be like a matter of a few, like less than 10 minutes behind them. And he got it done. And I had driven down that road so many times that we did not need to stop for directions at all. I knew exactly where we needed to go, exactly where to park. But while we were driving, it was the heaviest traffic that we had sat in all day, which sucked.
And it really was only a matter of minutes when we were getting to the pit stop. Amber and Vinny and Chris and Mary were walking off the mat. So it really ended up being a very close end to the day.
Oh my gosh, so, so close. Well, I love to hear that you guys considered, learning two different languages in preparation for the race. What other preparation did you do?
I mean, both of us went to school in the cities, so we learned to use the public navigation using a map rather than our phones. Once we had found out that we were going on the show, would you like to go ahead? You always like to tell this story.
Sure. Well, first she was talking about the public transportation. She went to school in Pittsburgh. I went to school in DC. So I really became accustomed with using the metro system. And like if we had to ever take trains, like I'd be able to look at a map and know like how many stops or where you had to go. Maya in Pittsburgh, they use the bus system. So like that was kind of unique. Not something that we necessarily planned ahead, but definitely a skill set that comes in handy when you're on the race. And then once we had found out that we were like moving forward, we tried to get as many experiences as we could.
We had gone on a road trip to the Outer Banks, so we tried to navigate there. Rohan sat in the back seat navigating me the whole entire way. On the way back, we tried to do it without our phones using a map. While we were there, we tried to mimic different challenges that we'd have to face.
We did this huge ropes course. Maya was like swinging from a rope swing. We went kayaking and canoeing, rock climbing. Even Maya's a picky eater. We saw the maggot cheese and other crazy food challenges, caviar that they've had to do in the past. So she ordered her food that I knew she didn't like.
Suck it up and eat it. What else? I knew that I was going to be doing the brunt of the manual labor on the race if it ever got to that point. Rohan's very puzzle minded. But I knew that if we had gotten some form of tool task, I knew that there was a task where they had to give oil changes to cars at a certain point. I knew that I was going to need to familiarize myself with that. So I got inspiration from one of the other seasons and I moved into my college apartment and built my IKEA furniture without instructions. So it was just kind of preparations like that.
And then it just turns out to be navigation that gets you on this first leg. What is this experience like? I mean, I know it was short, but like, what was this opportunity for you to do together?
It was the first time that we've gotten to go out of the country together and it just be the two of us. And it was our first time driving in a new country for what it's worth.
Filmed, I had been 19, so driving in another country, it's not the same as driving in the United States. But at that point I'd had my license for about 2 years, so it was definitely a change for me.
So that really has inspired us. We went to Italy in that after we were done racing, we went to Italy, just the two of us, and we're inspired to keep traveling around the world together when we have time to. We have a really special bond.
Going on the show, it's been a childhood dream for both of us. I mean, we really started watching when I was in kindergarten. You were in third grade. I know you started watching a little bit before then. And in that era, it was the point in time where brother-sister duos were winning the race. I know Nick and Star, Tammy and Victor had won back-to-back seasons. And so for us growing up watching that, it really just inspired us to want to go on the show.
And was this your first time applying?
Yeah. So we had to
Wow.
wait until Maya turned 18, like that really was it. And then because of the pandemic, the first opportunity that we had um 2022. So we submitted an application and we heard back a couple months later. So it was really exciting.
Well, congratulations getting on the show. I mean, first off, that's so hard to do. And you guys were so adorable to watch. You got through some really stressful stuff. Sorry it ended so soon, but it was lovely to watch you guys.
Oh, thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your time today.